Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Wow, they got him. Marcellus Wiley has been arrested and no bail has been presented yet. Well, you got to understand something. He's being held without bail because he got arrested during the 4th of July weekend. So when you get arrested during the 4th of July weekend, obviously this is going to be a situation that's not going to be comparable for you. You know, you're not going to be in the apple of the eye of the people who arrested you. Gilbert Arenas' close friend has been under a litany of attacks due to a bunch of Trump supporters, anti-Trump supporters who all of a sudden they've cooked up a lot of cases and charges against him. Now, he's always been very defendant of Gilbert Arenas and Gil's Arena, the show. He appeared on the show a couple of times, and Gilbert himself is indicted federally for illegal gambling. His alleged involvement in an illegal gambling ring where he says 40 federal agents stormed his house at 6 a.m. and they came in hot in his area that he lived in and basically told the entire world that everything changed and went upside down. As the federal authorities swooped into his mansion when they accused him of running or being a part of running a high stakes poker games at his house that he was renting out to some Israeli people, and a conspiracy to run an illegal gambling operation itself and lying to federal investigators. So he's federally charged for being a liar as well. That's how much of a liar he is. He's federally charged for it. He lied and told you, he was the boss over there at Underdog, Gil's Arena, that he was the owner. He hired Skip Bayless, all these different things, right? Come to find out, that was a lie. So Gilbert Arenas posted $50,000 bail and pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, Gilbert Arenas faces up to 5 years of imprisonment for each count. They should be having a decision on that coming soon. I personally don't think he's going to do any jail time. He'll do whatever he can to cooperate to keep from doing jail time. And Marcellus Wiley's friendship with Gilbert Arenas seemingly has not worked out well for him, because now Gilbert Arenas is under the scope and the radar, a guy who's federally indicted, and you keep mentioning his show as if you are a support channel, and then you keep highlighting and praising Donald Trump for everything that he's doing, the other side is not going to like you too much. And I must say this, I felt Marcellus Wiley to be a fair man. I don't see him to be that biased or leaning that way or another. Sometimes I just think he's a little off, or he's agenda based selling, or he's omitting certain things. But other than that, he's been the fairest one, I think, out of all of them. But when you start to look at the exact charges that he's faced with and what they've been throwing at him, a lot of these people fail to mention that some of these lawsuits against him have already been thrown out of court, which Marcellus Wiley has also spoken of. Right. Marcellus Wiley is not a bad dude. It's just that it seems like when you attach yourself to Gilbert, something bad just happens. That guy has a bad mojo around him. So with him, it's just, it's a matter of time. Now, if we look at the aspects of what's going on in these cases, it gets spooky. It gets spooky like Pookie. Oh, absolutely. It gets spooky like Pookie around here. No, not Wiley. Yeah, I'm afraid. Wiley. Now, many people who are not in the know, they don't know Marcellus Wiley for his football days, which they should. He's a very interesting human being, like charismatic. He's always been 100% genuine. So I've thought, I didn't know he followed too much agenda base until I seen some of his coverage of Gilbert Arenas' show. He probably did it as a favor to Gil and his friendship with Gil, as he appeared on that show before. It was really Underdog show that Gil was a host of. He seemed pretty genuine. And when he went against Ryan Clark, I kind of sided with Ryan Clark based on what I assumed Ryan Clark and his personality was like. Then I realized that Ryan Clark is pretty much a phony. And then it made a lot of sense because of what happened with us with Ryan Clark. And I said, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. Now I get it. So Ryan Clark is just a facade. So it gives some validity to what Marcellus Wiley was saying the whole time in his experience with Ryan Clark, because it was similar to ours. So now I'm hearing 3 different stories that all match up the same consistency about Ryan Clark. So that told me Marcellus Wiley was somebody that was being genuine in his story. Now, if we start to look at everything that's going on, right? And we start saying, hey, why all of a sudden is Marcellus Wiley doing these things? He started to go doing a lot of right-wing commentary, started taking pretty much, I wouldn't say shots, but just giving his thoughts on certain political stances and how he felt about this situation. And it was starting to rub the left wing the wrong way. Started to feel performative or agenda-based. And that's something they don't like. So if it comes off as performative or agenda-based, you're going to be faced with a lot of uncertainty, pushback, and a lot of guys who are not accustomed to having people tell them what to do, feeling offended or threatened. their position there is. So if their position is feel to be threatened, they're going to push back. Then all of a sudden, here comes all of these lawsuits, crazy innuendos. I mean, you want to talk about incredibly dumb? It's a bad look, and that's my whole thing is when you are dealing with somebody such as like what Gil is and what he's dealing with, and your association with him, it could pull you down like an anchor. Yeah, so it's always like be careful with who you deal with in this business and people and who you follow behind. These are the reasons why they come up with these rules. hmm All of these people who really look up to Gilbert are people that don't know him. It's not really his peers. He's normally a guy that they look at as like a court jester or a clown. They don't look at him as a serious individual or take him seriously. It's like, well, can we use him for something? If they need him for something, they could use him. But if not, then he's just discarded like a piece of trash. And they know he always will come with his hand begging out, or he's subservient and he's loyal to a blind fault. So he's always going to toe the line. Marcellus Wiley seems to have an allegiance with the right-wing party, Donald Trump, and he has his reasons. And because they align themselves there, he becomes a target. Do I believe Marcellus Wiley has done all of the things that they're claiming he's done? Listening to it, in which we're going to go through now, so you guys will all understand where we're coming from, because I want you guys to understand this fully. You can make up your own mind. Magic Johnson was a hero in my youth. I do not believe the rumors he was in a gay bathhouse. He was in a bathhouse. It was just a whirlpool. It was a private whirlpool. He wasn't in no bathhouse. Now, yeah, he wanted to show him. He wanted to show everybody his Magic Johnson. But that's a whole nother thing. But let's get off that. Let's stay here, okay? Because here's where it matters. Okay. So over the weekend, he was arrested in Florida for what is supposedly a 4th of July domestic battery. So they listed him in the jail system and the custody record saying he's being held without bond because it's the holiday, and said that the incident that led to the charge and who was involved is not going to be immediately available. So Marcellus Wiley, he played 10 years, mostly with San Diego and the Bills. And somebody said he played for the Cowboys too. I remember he played with Jacksonville, but I remember him more with the Chargers. So anyway, he's become a great guy in broadcasting. He's friends with Whitlock. That's another strike against him. He just have a bad core of friends. You got Trump, Whitlock, Whitlock. Well, you're a Trump supporter. I don't never really see him with Trump, but Trump supporter, Whitlock, Gill. Oh yeah, you've already screwed up. That's a bad batch of apples. Well, no one wanted to take that route because they didn't know. Majority of the people that's in this game right now, they don't care about the consensus. Why would TMZ get this story? This was in Florida. No. They're trying to find a way. Seriously, they're trying to find a way to limit or put into a stature of play a conditioning situation where all of this would just go away. They want it to fade away, but they can't get it to work, no matter how hard they try. Hang in there, brother. I feel bad for you. You just gotta keep your circle small and get rid of the poison people around you, dog. You got the wrong people around you. Because anything with Gil in it is the wrong people. You think that was a coincidence that TMZ would pick this up with Marcellus Wiley that quick? You understand what I'm saying? Marcellus Wiley was facing a wave of SA charges with 4 women coming forward. This is back in like April with all this legal battle with the Columbia University that was submitted. Part of this thing, they had 3 women that filed these lawsuits claiming the R word happened in 1994 against them, with all these accusers, including a former ESPN production assistant. So a former ESPN PA is going to step up and say they were abused. PAs are always, this is why you don't mess with people in the workplace. So they can never use this against you. And they will use it anyway. They always will find a production assistant or somebody that used to work there that didn't like you, and they'll try to use an angle to get you out. And they say, hey, you want back in? You want a good job? Well, we need you to go in there and file this report against them. You think they would have a moral compass? Nope, they will go and do that in a heartbeat to try to get back in the job. And get a good recommendation somewhere else. They would, man, these people are low down, dirty, and have no shame about being it. What's a stretch? Only stretch I'm doing is stretching out. Now, the latest claims that they had was part of this litigation, right, that they are talking about, right, in New York, where these three women filed these lawsuits. Why would they file these lawsuits in New York? Same reason why they did this with Diddy. None of these crimes with Diddy happened in New York. But let's go push the New York angle so we can use New York law. Right? So that's why they're saying Columbia in 1994. You know, it's in sworn statements with perjury, penalty under perjury, right? Which nobody cares about no more. These new accusers said that, what did they say? He tried to leverage his status as a professional football player to gain their trust when he was at college, and that the attorneys argued that Columbia University failed to act appropriately and allowing Marcellus Wiley to maintain this false image of safety, respect, and integrity. And he placed additional women at work. And they was like, amongst the new accusers are two women who alleged assaults occurred in California from 95 to 99. So at that time, he was just going wild, huh? And then another one claimed that Marcellus Wiley was interacting with her when she was 13 years old, visiting her at middle school in Buffalo, New York, when he was playing for the Buffalo Bills. She alleges that Marcellus Wiley initiated contact, gave her his email, and developed a relationship with her and her family, including offering gifts and invitations to his home. This is what she's saying. Somebody he probably was being nice to, the family, whatever the condition. But it's not. It's not even done yet. So she claims, this woman who's anonymous, that the relationship was over years. And on her 18th birthday, he flew her to Dallas, where he was playing for the Cowboys, and coerced her into sex. But she described the R-word claim as her being groomed over time. He was grooming her until she became 18. Wow. That's crazy. That is a crazy story. Now, you know I don't believe that shit. I believe he's 100% innocent on that. But let's go to the ESPN's production assistant. ESPN stands for what? Every sports person's nightmare. Now, the production assistant alleged that Wiley assaulted her in a hotel room in 2009 after inviting her under the pretense of a work meeting that she claims Marcellus Wiley emerged naked and physically overpowering her, leaving her fearful for her life. She says she repeatedly asked him to stop. So they were having a work meeting in his hotel room, and he just emerged naked. Did he have like a cape or something on? Ha ha! I'm the great Marcellus Wiley. Let's wrestle. And he physically overpowered her, leaving her fearful for her life. She repeatedly asked him to stop. And I guess he didn't stop, according to her. So now we have two additional accusers, alleged incidents in the late 1990s, including one who says she was attacked in Culver City apartment and another one who claimed she was R-worded in a hotel while attending the University of Southern Cal. States that she reported the assault to the LA Police Department, though no charges were filed. The newly filed allegations are tied to an ongoing effort by one of the plaintiffs as Jane Doe to convert her lawsuit into a class action lawsuit. Her initial complaint that was in 2023 alleged that Marcellus Wiley R-worded her in his Columbia days. Yeah, back in his dorm room. And what she say, November of 1994, after inviting her to study. She claims university officials discouraged her from going to the police instead of handling the matter internally. So all of this stuff is starting to come out, and they're starting to weaponize all of these things against Marcellus Wiley. Now, there have been two other former Columbia students filing the same lawsuit, claiming the R words in the dorms in 1994. One claimed she was told by Wiley that he would be suspended, while others alleged that she reported the incident and that the university delayed their actions, citing Wiley's upcoming football game. So the attorney, who's Laura Gentile, I cannot make that up. She represented multiple accusers in this same lawsuit. Alleges that in the court filings, Columbia was aware of multiple complaints, but failed to make a meaningful disciplinary action. According to the filings, Wiley was placed on academic probation rather than formally disciplined for misconduct and was allowed to complete his semester remotely. So they are digging all this crap up to throw at Marcellus Wiley. And Miss Laura Gentile says that they're promoting, protecting, and elevating a sexual predator, claiming that Columbia University is doing this, and claim that the university enabled further harm against the women and the victims. Of course, Marcellus Wiley has denied all these allegations. His attorney says that he denies he committed any wrongdoings in this alleged dispute, and they filed challenges whether these claims could even be pursued as class action. Columbia has stated in the legal filing that any actions by Wiley were beyond the university's control. So a hearing whether the case will be proceeded as a class action, which was scheduled for May 12th, a lot of these charges had already been knocked out and thrown away for being absolutely ridiculous. But it lets you know one thing. They're after Marcellus Wiley, which means he's having an impact in what's upcoming in this election. And if they see you as a threat of being in their way while they're trying to get this thing done, buddy boy, that's a huge problem. So now he's arrested for a domestic situation where they're going to try to bring in all of these other situations that he's had. Mm-hmm. And he's Gilbert Arenas' close friend. They live down the street from each other. He's appeared on Gil's Arena, the show that Gilbert was the host of for Underdog. And Gilbert Arenas has been indicted by the federal government for a legal gambling scandal and is serving, well, he's facing 5 felony charges. And it's still pending right now that we know of. We have no official word yet of a plea deal or anything else, as others have taken plea deals. And on Tuesday, we will have a sentencing as into one of the main Israeli guys that they've been trying to mm-hmm. Attachment to Mr. Arenas could definitely do a lot of damage. I mean, if you think about it, you got Jason Whitlock, you're a Trump supporter, and Gilbert Arenas is around you. Bad things is possibly going to follow. You look at what was supposedly his show. The guy's been federally indicted for lying. How many people get federally indicted for lying? You must really piss somebody off with your lie. One of his charges is lying. Jeez. Right. Hanging with the wrong crowd of people. So this is a very teachable situation and something people should learn. Be careful who you hang with, because these are the people that you'll go down with. And it's a common thread that you see amongst everyone else. When you see them appear, they never seem to have that same wherewithal for everyone else that's out there. They seem to have a warped sense of responsibility or humor or what have you. They don't want other people to have an advantage over you. In this day and age, they want everybody to be like in a simulation. No, they don't. They don't see it that way. They pretty much break down the associations of people that's out there, and they try to come after them and give them fake narratives and notions. And Yeah, that's just how they do things. That's how they operate. Yeah, things can it would go in a different direction if people knew what was going on. Yeah, there's so much that's happening that people don't even grasp. But I feel bad that everyone else, like you guys who got to listen to this, you know what I'm saying, that y'all see what's happening out here to somebody and y'all understand that this is a plot. It's a plan for them to try to destroy somebody. I really feel this man is being wrong right now, and I don't know what happened in this domestic case, but I don't know if I believe these stories because it's like you wait till 2026 and 2023 to start trying to throw out these narratives. A lot of them don't want to engage in a situation where the the narrative don't fit the crime. You ever see that? Where they say, hey, that don't fit the crime. The punishment don't fit the crime. I just don't know if there is a crime at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't know what it is. They have been very vague in this arrest for this domestic abuse that has him arrested in Florida. They've been very vague on that. Now, Marcellus Wiley is somebody that does things for the kids. He does fundraisers. His whole channel basically is a fundraiser. Gives back to the community, got his own kids. He doesn't really get in any trouble. Now, all of a sudden, it's getting close to November, and people are starting to see this activity, and it's not good. The energy is not good. It's not like they're not going in the right direction. Right, and trying to switch it to a payday is it's like that's crazy work. So even though he's got a relationship, like he's friends with Gil, and Gil is federally indicted and everything, it's like even with all of that baggage that comes along with that, this is like another situation that okay, that might be the case, but don't forget what's going on. Now, he stood up for Jaylen Brown. So he decided to do something today. Marcellus Wiley, who's still incarcerated right now, for some reason, highlighted this scene here.
Hey, give a love. It's my dog. Say hi, everybody.
Hi,
Say, my name is MJ.
my name is MJ.
What does the MJ stand for?
Marcellus Jr.
Get him, baby. Let's get him real quick. Wop, wop, wop. Boom, 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 boom. Whoop. Boom, bow. Boom. Hey, give a love.
So,
my dog.
So whatever's going on here, his son Marcellus Jr. It must be related to whatever this domestical situation is about. Because he pinned this on his channel and this wasn't pinned up before. Mm-hmm. Right. These narratives are destroying people in the simulation, and it's real out there. He says, so you believe he's getting set up, but you still use Gil's name in the title. Why do you care? Why is your concern Gil's name in the title? With everything you're hearing, nobody in the chat we're actually having a conversation about what's going on. Had you been listening to the video, you would know why Gil's name's in the title. He's federally indicted. And this is his friend who's been federally indicted, and now here he is facing cases. But I don't believe the cases that they're putting up against him because I believe there's an agenda to it. And we've been explaining that since the video. We don't know if you just got here, sir, but you need to. He said, you and Kwame was just glazing this guy. Stop the madness, especially self-talk. Well, that's a situation you should take up with self-talk. I don't know. Who are you talking about with glazing? He's been arrested for a domestic situation in Florida, and he's being held with no bond. So I guess, but it's the 4th of July weekend. So, of course, he's not going to be there till courts open, which is probably Monday or Tuesday. Yes. The stories are just too ludicrous for me to get behind, and I'm just like, I don't buy that, so it's all a matter of what you're going to answer to when you're dealing with these type of stories. Right. You don't get a bond until you see the judge. Exactly. In Florida. So, yeah, he's not getting a bond until you see the judge, which probably be Monday or Tuesday. Right. I tell it like it is. I'm not going to say because he's like Gil's friend that, he's Gil's friend. So that means, there's a big problem for him because he's Gil's friend. No, we don't do that. We tell it exactly how it is. I'm being too lazy to say the left is doing this to him. Let's wait until all the facts come out before you blame it on the left. Maybe he did those things, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. The same thing we said in the video. Like I said, you must have just gotten here. I'm saying that if he did do them, I don't know it, but I don't believe it based on how it's been presented. Listening to it, it doesn't sound believable. And then the fact is, what else doesn't sound believable is the actual timing that you choose to file. This lawyer representing all of these clients who all of a sudden now in 2023 or 2024 want to start getting this thing in motion to go against Marcellus Wiley. And you're talking about 1994 through 1999. That's why I fully stand behind the statute of limitations for these type of criminal cases. If you're going to file, you should have filed within the first 10 years. Anything past that, you're just being vindictive. Most of these chicks had regrettable sex. They're like, I slept with him before. Now he done moved on and got a family. He rich. I'm filing a case. Some of these women never even been with him. You see how that works? It's horrible. So, I feel for Marcellus Wiley in that case with those things, but the domestic situation, we don't know about yet. We have no facts on that yet, but on his Twitter, you see he posted his child and everything else up there so that people could see that. And we want to say, man, we feel for the ALS diagnosis for Chris Johnson, former running back. All he can move now is his eyes. And, that's just sad. What's going on with Chris? Oh, absolutely. Marcellus Wiley and his family, his 3 kids, his woman. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Well, the Democrats didn't got him, in my opinion. But he's been arrested in Florida for domestic abuse. We don't know. He's still being held. We don't know the situation yet until probably Monday because he got arrested on the 4th of July. So he's been booked, and that's his mug shot. Yep. That's what I'm saying. All these other fake lawsuits they kept on, these women accusing him, all of this stuff is going to get blended in together. They couldn't wait to put that as an attachment to this case he got here. Yeah, this is him on a vacation with his family, with his father. That's his father right there. That was back in the day. So I don't know what happened in Florida. We don't know yet. But in Florida, you can you got to go see a judge before you can get bond for domestic. So he won't see the judge till about Monday or Tuesday. You know, by the fact that it's the holiday. No, he just poor timing. Yep. So on his Twitter, you know, it changed and they put a thumbnail up of his son, him and his son. And that's his thumbnail. Like his pinned video. Anybody go to his page, you know, he's very proud of his son. And he put his son up there on his front page, you know, and I'm sorry, I didn't accidentally knocked it off. But there it is. It should be up there now.
Boom, 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 bow, boom. Hey, give a love. It's my dog. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Say, my name is MJ.
My name is MJ.
What does the MJ stand for?
Marcellus Jr.
Get him, baby. Let's get him real quick. Wop, wop, wop. Boom, 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 bow, boom. Hey, give a love.
So he pinned that clip up there on his page. Now, I like Marcellus Wiley. Now, everybody know that. I don't have no problems with him. You know, I'm just saying, his association with Gil is just when you got bad energy around you, this guy's federally indicted. You know, you got Whitlock, and you're a Trump supporter. Them Democrats and that left is coming, especially if you're making waves in the water. They coming. I'm telling you, you look who you align with. Hashtag blame Gilbert. I'm just saying, you're doing favors for this person who's federally indicted. He's indicted for lying to the federal and government. He got a federal charge for that is still pending right now today. Federal case. Lying to federal agents. So he is indicted for lying. That's how big of a liar Gil is. That he's indicted for federally. Making a domestic issue a political one is dangerous. We don't know yet. We're talking about the other cases they got. He got all these SA cases going back from 1994. They're digging all that up and throwing that in the mix with the domestic thing. They're trying to turn it into a class action. He had already got 3 of these cases knocked out already. It's a big shift out here. No, if you were going against the agenda, believe me, they're going to come and get you. They will come get you. I'm just aware how the other side moves. So we're gonna wait and see what happens, but I'm very aware how they move, dog. Somebody said, I see the play. All of this is a setup because he defended Jaylen Brown, another person who doesn't bother anyone. Wicked. He says Florida is a red state. Democrats have zero power in Florida. That's where you're incorrect. It is a red state, but don't ever believe Democrats don't have any power in Florida. There's a lot of Democrats that live in Florida. Star Island ain't nothing but flooded with them. Trust me. Don't fall for that trap. No, you got to read the play. This man was celebrating the UFC Freedom 250 event with Trump. He started talking about New York, pointing out certain inconsistencies and what was going on. And the thing about him that I respect is that he kept it neutral. I felt he kept it neutral. He wasn't really like Whitlock. You know, Whitlock is yeah, you already know. No. My thing is when you start servicing certain people because they're your friend and start putting out false narratives or narratives that are very inconsistent because they ask you to do it or it seems agenda based, it hurts your brand of being authentic. When you start putting up stuff like Gilbert Arenas contract is expiring and the other suitors are circling while Underdog has an existing relationship, new suitors, offers, imagination, and leverage. It's all about telling that experience to potential new partners. It's like, are you paid advertisement now? LeBron does not want to have anything to do with me. He need to be worried about whatever team he's going to lose on. You keep believing that. They're some of the most dangerous people on the planet, buddy. You better believe that. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. The left will get it done. If they feel you're a threat, that you could be maneuvering votes from one side to another side, you will be the target and they will come for you. And you won't even know it, but they coming. So I don't believe any of this until I see what's going on. Absolutely. So on that note, be safe. I'll see y'all on the Patreon. My Casino for Life Patreon. I'm getting ready to update that. You don't like that. Trust me. We starting the year off with a bang. Holiday or not. We out.